All right. Welcome, everybody, to Cultivate Coaching. We've just got a couple more minutes, so we've got people hopping on, and we're going to take some time and introduce some of our team that you will see on this call tonight. My name's Alexis. I've been connected with Be the One since day one. And let me tell you, I am the perfect example of what this ministry can do in a teenager's life. It impacted me greatly at a young age, and here I am 9 years later, and now I'm the director of Be the One Ministry, so I oversee our day-to-day operations. If you want to know anything about administration or what it looks like to effectively plan outreaches, I am your girl. I love administration, and I would personally love the opportunity to connect with you. I love young people. I see the value in our summer opportunities that we're going to talk about here in just a couple of minutes. My email will be in the chat box if you ever have any questions about what we do. But I also have the pleasure of passing it over to our student development director, Devin.
Yo, what's up, everybody? I'm so excited to see y'all. I see a few faces that are familiar that I know. And so, like Alexis said, my name is Devin, and I help with student development here at Be the One. And then also, I'm a student pastor at our church called The House. And so, I just love getting to connect with other people who are investing in the next generation. I'm excited that you're here. Come on, I got my notebook ready. I'm ready to learn. So, I hope you got something to take notes on. But real quick, why don't you go ahead and drop in the chat where you're at, what church you're at, where you're from, and let's start connecting a little bit. And so I'm actually going to pass it over to Mitch real quick. But before we do that, I just want to pray over the night. And so because I just believe that, come on, we're making an investment, and I believe that God wants to do something in the hearts of our young people. And so you guys pray with me real quick. God, we just give this night to you. We ask that you would open up our eyes to see things that we haven't seen before, God, that you would begin to give us a heart for the young people in our cities and in our schools, God, that we wouldn't just want to get a job done or check off a spiritual checklist, God, but that we would want to see young people step into authentic transformation, God, that we would want to see lives changed in our communities, God, and that we're planting seeds, God. We're in the seed planting business. So even if we don't see it immediately, God, I'm praying that we will begin to see a harvest for what you're doing in and through our lives. In your son Jesus' name we pray. Amen. All right, so we're getting ready to get started here in a few seconds. So I'm going to pass it over to Mitch.
For sure. So good evening, everybody. Man, we are so excited to see you. For those of you who have just hopped on, welcome to Cultivate Coaching. My name is Mitch. This is Alexis. I'm in charge of recruitment here at Be the One, and together we will be emceeing the night. So we are so excited to see you. We know that you are excited to hear from our founder, Pastor Stephen, as he teaches just practical ways to take your student ministry to the next level. We're hearing a little bit about people in the chat. How are you involved in your student ministry? So we've heard from where you're from. We want to know what you do. For us, Alexis and I, we both lead our local trips. We're in charge of reaching out to students and just seeing people. So we want to know, what do you do for your student ministry? Let's look at the chat box. We'll see. Hey. Yeah, we got some youth pastors. Come on, student leaders.
Nice.
All
right, for sure. So before we get started, I'm just going to take a minute and introduce Be the One for those of you who maybe are wondering what we're all about. Well, our founder, Pastor Stephen, he and his wife, Katie, launched Be the One in 2012 with the goal of awakening a generation of difference makers. And so that's what we do. That's what we're about. And we want to give you 2 or 3 thoughts on where we're coming from, what we're doing, how this ministry is investing in young people. And so over the last 9 years, we have been hosting local mission trips. And so in just a week, we actually are doing our first of 2 local trips that we do every summer, where over 30 young people are coming in each group. We are also impacting the nation of Belize. By this month, we are sending one of our high capacity couples to begin developing our first permanent international partnership, all about developing the next generation. We also have an internship that's designed to develop young leaders and take them to the next level in their relationship with God and in leadership. And so some of these interns are actually on this call tonight, learning what it looks like to be a student leader and invest in the next generation. So let me tell you, Be the One is growing, and we wanted to take this opportunity to teach you some of the concepts that our founders, Pastor Stephen and Katie, have learned and imparted into our team over many years of experience that's produced this growth. So I'm going to pass it back over to Dev, and he's going to move us into our next moment.
Yeah, so I just want to let you guys know we have a ton of our staff from the house and Be the One on here. And so our heart really is to help you win. So we have, we got Stephen Hill, our worship leader. So if that's something that you do or that's a lane that you're in, come on, you can ask him questions. We have people who are administrative, planning events, discipleship, whatever questions you have about ministry, drop those in the chat as we go throughout tonight, because we want to help you win. We want to do whatever we can, whatever documents we can send you that we have. Come on, we just want to be an ally to you and to help see your ministry thrive where you're at. And so that's whether you have a huge ministry or you're just getting started and you have a smaller ministry. We want to be a part of helping you win. So don't hesitate to drop those questions, and we will have people reaching out to you later this week. So we're excited to get started. Right. And Alexis has a little bit more that she's going to share with you.
Yes, if you are on this call and you did not get the opportunity to sign up, that is great. And we are so glad that you are here. But we do ask that you take just a couple of seconds and fill out the form that will be sent in the chat box. This is our way of getting to know more about you so that we can reach out to you about our future Cultivate coachings. This is the first coaching of many. And I really believe that after this call, you're going to want to hear more from our pastor.
Right. So now we're getting down to what we're all here for. I do want to just let us know, if you haven't already, go ahead and mute your mic. Go ahead and mute that. And then coming just from a student pastor, come on. I know not all the times on the church budget line is student ministry like right at the top. And so it can feel like, man, I don't have what I need to grow my area. But tonight, our heart is really just to help you go further, faster, and to see what God can do through what you already have. And so it is my honor and my privilege to introduce our founder, Pastor Stephen Sexton. You guys put your hands together for him. Drop some hand clap emojis in the chat. Let's go.
Hey, guys, I am so excited that you're on. I see a lot of familiar faces, and I just got to tell you, I'm so glad that we are connecting this way. Listen, we're going to be even shorter than our time, because I think one of the greatest things that you can do with a leader is give them time back. But we really want to help you move further, farther, faster. And we're going to have a few of these free coaching things that we believe have really helped us start from nothing. We started Be the One. I left being a student pastor for 20 years and really believed that I wanted to help students move from the back row to the front row of church. And I realized that, through missions and practical hand-on mentoring, that we could do that. And that grew into a church. And listen, even today, like our church doesn't even really know that, but today we signed a contract on a building. And so we're going to start renovations, and we are very excited about that. So now we own a facility. And so listen, we're good things are happening. And I want to talk to you about how we did it. Now, there are a lot of ways to grow ministry. There's a lot of ways to grow church, but every one of our staff members have come from growing them here. And we believe that you can grow a staff. Everybody wants that team to thrive. Everybody wants that team to grow. Come on, how many need more leaders? How many need more volunteers? How many people need people to help you organize and run? But here's the one thing that we do when we talk to leaders, senior pastors, student pastors, worship leaders, everybody says, I need more leaders. But a lot of times when I ask them, well, what would you do with them? Well, it's not that quick. It's like, well, we need a lot of help. Okay, well, what would they do? And so I want to talk a little bit about how we can help you find the who that is already in your ministry. Here's what we want to tell you. God will never ask you to do something and grow something and produce something without seed. You already have in your ministry, come on, listen, what you need. And so we're going to spend this first activate this coaching, this Cultivate Coaching, talking about the who. Listen, you start with who you have, not who you want. Everybody wants LeBron James. Come on. Everybody wants Beyonce. Come on, be honest. You want that worship leader. You want that worship. I'm a survivor. Who doesn't want Beyonce leading your worship? Okay, maybe you want her dressed a little bit more appropriately, but listen, I'm just saying, who doesn't want every one of your high school girls to be Sadie Robinson? Come on, listen. Like could you just write a devotion? Come on, if you're going to get that tattoo, go ahead and put all over your Proverbs 31. Listen, all I'm saying is that these people have to be developed. And if you're waiting for your ministry or your area to find these people are already doing something. To build a team, leaders have to practice the discipline of discover, develop, and deploy. And we're going to talk about this in depth today. We call this building the who. God has gifted all of us with seed, but we have to recognize, come on, who is around us by helping them take next steps, by helping them grow, by helping them overcome, by helping them believe that they can, come on, step into more. And so the first is discover. Who do you see? Who's present? Who can you ask to help you? Who do you need on your team? I believe someone is coming to your mind right now, because here's what we know. Jesus knew that everyone needed purpose. So do young people. And you're the one to give young people purpose. Obviously, we know that it's given by God. Obviously, before the foundations of the earth. But here's the issue, is that we have a culture of people that don't know that. We have a culture of people that don't know that they already have been given a purpose. We want to discover those that God is sending us. Who do you see? Do you see that young person that no one else sees? Let's be youth ministers, youth people, coaches, leaders, small group who discover young people. Most youth groups, most student ministries aren't missing leaders. They've overlooked the potential that is available. In other words, there are people already there. I believe that our student ministries are full of diamonds in the rough. Listen, not everybody can be Devin. Not everybody can be Cole Yeldell. Not everybody can be, not everybody can be the superstar. But normal people like me, come on, listen, it took someone to develop me, to discover some of my potential. I'm going to give you 3 ways real quick you can discover future leaders. First, you got to see people. Listen, if you're so busy in administration that you can't see people, if you can't walk slow through the crowd and see young people, if your group is so big that you're not able to see. So here's what I'm saying. It doesn't matter if you have 15 or if you have 300. And I'm going to tell you the truth. Like, I want our youth group to grow. Devin and I have had a lot of conversations, and we believe that we have the capacity to see a lot of students come to our church. But here's the deal, is he can't see everyone. So it's going to take leadership to find out who he's looking for. If you're coming into 150 kids, you can't see everybody. So who are you looking for? If you have 30 kids, who are you looking for? If you have 12 kids, who are you looking for? Because we can't do it like the world does it. The goal for the student leader isn't just to form a crowd. It's to look and find the one in the crowd. Come on, listen. Jesus could find the one. The kingdom is counterculture to the world. The world sees talent and gifting and resources, but Jesus looks at the heart. Come on. We got to take a moment and see those who are actually, listen to this, receiving from your ministry. We can't be annoyed at the young person that always comes up and says good word. They're the ones receiving from you. They're the ones that'll do whatever you ask. Next time you're speaking, look out in the crowd and see the one who is leaning in They're leaning into what you're saying, and they're leading up. Like they're the ones actually writing it down and doing what you're saying. See the one who shows up to the event. And you know what? I remember as a youth pastor, it was like when I started, come on, and just transparent is that, you know, I had all the kids that I was like, they had nowhere else to go. But that's who God gave me. And that's who God told me to develop. And that's who God called me to coach. The second one is we got to see who's available. Who's around? Most youth leaders, listen, and I'm not talking about you guys, but you know, as I travel, I see a lot of people who say, well, if we can get the quarterback, if we can get the head cheerleader, if we can get that girl who just did, you know, that song competition or singing competition, what? Listen, we're not looking for the coolest or the smartest. We're looking for the whosoever will. We're looking for the available. We don't want to miss people who say yes. That's not saying that we're overlooking people who are gifted or talented or smart or cool. Obviously, we're open for anybody who says yes. But I'm cautioning you not to overlook those who are available and chase the ones who are not interested. Listen, spend the time on the people that are showing up. Listen, see potential. There is a God-given potential inside every student that you come in contact with. And do you see it? Do you call it out? Come on, prophetically, like you're seeing what is in them and you're calling out. And even though you might not be this now, I see something. And I only may see 20%, but I'm calling out that 20% and I'm bringing it out because I believe that after we work a while, after you serve a while, after you walk with me, I mean, that's what Paul said. Paul said, follow me as I follow Christ. In other words, I believe that when you walk with me, you'll change. That there will be a difference in your life. We got to see potential. Everyone discounts people because of an attitude problem or that they're messy. They have a messy past. They have a messy life. They have issues with going between the two parents. They're the ADD child, so they're running around all the time. And they started in junior high, and they've pretty much broken everything we've owned. And so we kind of step back. But here's what I'm asking you: is discover it, develop it, see it. Don't allow those labels that are given to young people for you to think the same thing. See and call out their possibility for greatness. We are the ones that believe the word. In other words, we walk in faith. We believe what we do not see will come to pass. Come on, help me. We don't just preach about Jesus getting out of the boat. We don't just preach about the fact that, you know, I mean, think about this. The disciples, it said it's not a good time to feed the 5,000. But all I'm telling you is, I don't know if I have enough to invest in this child, but you do. You do. And we want to make sure that we are seeing the people that God has given us and where they can fit into our student ministry. Come on, if that resonates with you, maybe something on Discover, throw that into the chat. The next thing is, so we talked about Discover. Next, we're going to develop. We're going to develop them to impact the next generation. We've got to be developers. That means maybe we need to change term, and you need to be coach pastor or coach shepherd, but we've got to get into coaching young people the things of God. This means, listen, not everybody who walks into your student ministry is going to be a level 10 leader. But after 6 years with you, they should be at least a level 7. You took them at a 2 and you took them to a 7. It's our calling to call out and develop their God-given potential. And so let's talk about this. 3 key components to development is, first, it takes time. Young people take time. The Bible says that young men will stumble and fall. We got way too many youth leaders getting their feelings hurt that young people did what young people do. They mess up. They fall. They lie. They were coming for a while and they got distracted by a shiny penny on the road and they stopped coming. Don't ever leverage what you've done for a young people and say, after all I've done, this is how you treat me. Come on, whoa, whoa, whoa. We're not giving so that they return it. We're giving because it's our calling. You got to invest the time, make the time. You have to say it a lot. You don't say it one time. Come on, you say it a lot. It will require intentionality and availability. Don't let what you're doing get old. Live it through the new people that are coming. Don't, oh, I've done this event 1,000 times. Well, this kid just moved to your youth group and it's his first time and we don't want to ruin it for him. Invest it, the time. You have to believe that moments with you can cause people to thrive. Listen, we make room in our schedules to meet with students, leaders, and parents. Listen, we have to, the young people have to believe that they're not a burden to us. Like we want to help them. To maximize our time in our meetings, they should be constant and regular. Listen, if you're going to invest the time, you can't do 3 or 4 hours with every young person. Every time they have a drama moment, whoa, 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 I'm going to set my time. My time is valuable. I'm going to teach them to honor my time. So I can speak 30 minutes with you. I can speak 15 minutes with you. You know what? I used to have 2 or 3 meetings before student ministries and then 2 or 3 meetings after. And in one night, I could do 6 meetings of people that I wanted to see go to the next step. Some of those would be leaders. Some of those would be high school students. Some of those would be junior high kids that I was getting ready to move into worship. And I would just like, hey, how are you doing on your guitar? What are you doing? Hey, get with this person. Tell them I sent you. Like your time, you're the coach. To maximize the time, listen, we've got to have some availability. While time may be limited, you may work a full-time job and you may like, listen, I have no time. Then here's what I would ask you to do. You're going to have to set aside some time to be able to connect. And all I would say is use your time intentionally. Be intentional. Showing up is not intentional. What are you? So you got to think 5 levels deep. Showing up. What are we doing when we show up? Who do I need so that we can do what we need to do when we show up? When do I have to communicate that so I have who I need so that we know what to do when we show up? Does that make sense? Like we are thinking, we're the ones that are thinking deep. And I want to tell you this, all of you students, all of you people who work with young people, the higher you go in leadership, the more preparation you have to do. And so if you got into ministry thinking you're just going to love people, you need to realize that Jesus touched a lot of people, but he also did a lot of preparation. And so preparation is part of your moment that puts you in proximity to young people and you make an impact. We want to be intentional with our meetings. And every meeting that you have with a student, with a parent, with one of your leaders is personal connection. How are you? I care about you more than I care about what you do. How are you? Where do you need me? Direction. Here's what I'm seeing and here's where I want to go. And that has to come from the leader. And then you always in a meeting ask everybody that you're leading to take one next step. Come on, is your one next step? You know what? You've been coming to youth group. I think your next step is I would love for you to be consistent. What would it take for that to happen? Well, the only reason I'm not is because I go with my mom and then I go with my dad. Okay, so you don't have any control over that. But when you're with your mom, I want you to be consistent. And I want you to let me know that you're here every time because I got a plan for you. Does that make sense? Time. The second one is investment. Like we're making an investment. You can't really make an investment without sacrifice. sacrifice. That means that you are investing your time. You're investing your resources. Listen, there are countless times that I buy a hamburger and a Coke, and I'm not worried about the reimbursement because I'm making an investment toward the kingdom of God. And if I was on the mission field, I would be doing things and not get reimbursed. Like there's this investment that, come on, teachers. When you talk to a teacher at the beginning of the school year, it is said that they spend like their first whole paycheck getting the school and the class ready because they're willing to make the investment. Building the next generation is going to cost you. You're making an investment in the future generations. And here's the deal. Most people in our culture are trying to destroy future generations. We need you. They need your stories. They need your lessons. They need your experience. Can I tell you, please don't be like Moses, like you just got here. Come on, show them your path. Tell them when you got in trouble. Listen, I remember being a student pastor and I was so excited to take the kids somewhere. I pulled out the van and I pulled it out too fast and I hit one of the pylons and the whole barn shed came down on the van I was driving and the two other vans, and I broke all the glass in all the vans. And I didn't get fired. See, the thing is, if there's not any humility in our leadership, then what we will do is we'll hide all of our stories and we'll make people think we just got here. And people would rather follow someone who is authentic than just someone who has authority. For us, listen, they need you. What you freely give, you freely receive. Remember that you can't outgive God. You don't think that you're wasting your investment. To reap any harvest, there has to be those willing to do the hard work of sowing the seeds. Every leader in your ministry needs to be a server and a sower. Listen, so here's the thing. They have to sow and they have to serve. Every leader. They don't just get to show up and blow up. Come on, somebody. Hey, yeah, I'm a student leader. Great. What's your responsibility? I'm just here. You're not a leader. What are you doing? Who did you get here? Who came because you walked in the door? Because that's called a chaperone. And in student ministry, we don't need chaperones. We need leaders. Come on. We need people who are investing and sowing their influence so that they serve the body of Christ and we move forward. Serve to make things happen. Sow to help students grow. Come on, investment looks like inviting someone to students. Listen, if your student leaders aren't inviting people and they're putting all the pressure on you to grow the student ministry, we need to back that thing up. Hold up. Can we talk about investment? Listen, we all building this, not me building this. We all moving forward. We're all trying to take it to the next level. Investment looks like paying for someone to go to camp that you believe in. Investment looks like buying someone a Coke or a hamburger and taking them out and talking to them about what you see in their life. Investment looks like leading a small group and being committed to that group and not changing the date every 3 meetings because it doesn't work out in your schedule and you're committed to that. Patience. My third one is patience. We're talking about development. Let me know if this is ringing out to you. If you're, man, this is speaking to you, throw that in the chat real quick. Patience. Development doesn't happen fast. While, listen, some students are naturally gifted, that doesn't mean that they know the culture that you're trying to build, and it's going to take a little bit of patience. As a youth leader, as a student leader, your role is to be patient, to love them, and to show them that there is a room for their growth. Your young people need to know that you're for them, not that you're frustrated because they didn't do it the way you wanted to do it. Listen, we never want our students or our leaders to feel like they're stepping into the principal's office. We've got to be patient. You are their coach. You are a shepherd. in their life, and you are helping them win at life. Having patience means repeating concepts over and over again. There are concepts of things that I've said to our staff that I've been saying this for 3 or 4 years, and they're just now walking into it. And I have some incredible, highly capable, intelligent people, but everybody's working through their own journey of freedom. And sometimes we don't want to step into a conversation, or we don't want to have accountability, or we don't want to make it clear because of something in our own past. And we got to have some patience. Listen, just because you said it doesn't mean they heard it. It's going to take patience. Listen well, teach effectively. Listen, I got one more, and I hope that you guys are enjoying this. Devin, real quick, let's just take kind of a mental break, because I just don't want to rush through this. I got one more, so stay with me. Don't leave. But I don't know, Devin, what are you getting from this? Maybe what's one of your takeaways? And then, we can open that up. If you have a thought or a question, you can put that here on the chat. But I'm going to just take a break, and I want to hear what you are getting from today. So hit unmute, and let's all take our turns. But I'd love to hear what you feel like God is sharing with you, Dev.
Yeah, I loved what you talked about, see people, because I think everyone, maybe at least me, I got into student ministry because I love young people. But then I'm having to realize, like, man, I'm going to have to train up some other people who also love young people, because there's no way I can see over 30 kids. There's no way I can see over 50 kids. So I need people on my team who are also able to see people and make the investment and really begin to have a heart to build the next generation. It can't just come from one person, but I'm going to have a team around me who will also do that. So I love that.
Somebody else, unmute your mic. Let's talk. There's no reason to act like there's a million people here. Let's talk a little bit. What are you thinking?
I know for me, a lot of the content I think is really good, but I guess a lot of my meetings, a lot of my time, effort, energy goes towards meeting with students. Let me just use the term extreme cases that are going through just a lot of junk, a lot of baggage, things at home, whatever, and so it really takes away a lot of my intentional time to develop leaders, because you feel like you're putting out fires more than you are being intentional. And so I know that's something that I feel like God was kind of highlighting to me, that I've got to adjust some things so I have more time to do that and be intentional developing leaders rather than just putting out fires. So.
Hey, Cole, you know what? One thing that we started doing, and so I'm going to give you a high level thought, because I think that you can break this down. But, when we started getting people on the dream team, we realized that after a year of being on our team, there would be a freedom issue that would cause them to get off the team. Like offense, an addiction, or whatever. It doesn't make. And so what we did is we went ahead and wrote a freedom curriculum that because I was doing what you were doing the first year and a half of the church. I was having all of these, I just can't stop sleeping with other people. Okay. I mean, like it was. And so what we did is I came up with 10 things that I was always counseling about.
Yeah.
And I wrote them out. And I have biblical thought on them. So like for students, it would be, how do I navigate transgender? How do I navigate my identity? I feel like I don't know who I am. How do I navigate loving my parents, even though I never see my dad? How do I pick these 5 or 10 high level thoughts that you feel like you're always circling?
Yeah.
Write them out like they were sitting down with you, and give them to your number 2 or 3 or 4 person. And from now on, when they come and talk to you, you just say, listen, this is very important to me. And I have spent time talking to so-and-so, and they know exactly what I think about all this. And I'm going to set up a meeting with you so that you can be discipled. And then they know your thoughts. So you're not worried about what they would tell them, because it's what you would tell them. And now I've done that with my pre-marriage counseling. I did all the pre-marriage counseling. Well, now I wrote everything that I would say. And now Devin does it. Adam does it. I've got people in the church that do it. So I'm just saying, if you find these things that you're always hitting on, take the time, get you 2 or 3 people on your team, write them out, and then start a small group that is called, everyday problems. And if these are the things that you're dealing with, you want to get into this group, because we're going to help take you to the next level.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
Can y'all hear us? Y'all can?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I wrote down here, people want to follow authenticity over authority. And I think that really speaks to what Be The One is. How you guys can sit down and actually connect with the people at your church. You guys have planned out how to make them feel welcome. And I believe that really draws people towards you guys, and that it makes them really listen to what you guys have to say.
Thanks, bro. I appreciate that. Listen, it's taken a long time, and I did it wrong a lot. So you're getting the good part, because I already did the bad part. But I will tell you that Jesus, when I read about him, he was incredibly authentic. And then people followed him because he had truth. So listen, I'm not even talking about this, but if you're a young leader, you got to know the Bible. You got to know the Bible. There's a culture growing up that actually believes that the Bible is not true. It's just, a bunch of stories and ideas, and you got to know the word, because the word will set you free. Thanks, bro. Somebody else.
Maya has something too.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Just as a student leader in youth group, learning that showing up, what you said, showing up is non-intentional. There's a point as a student leader where I had to step up and be like, okay, Devin was like, okay, you can be a student or you can be a leader and step up and do the things that I've told you to do. And I've grown so much from choosing to do the things that I've been asked to do, and just seeing how much we can grow by stepping up and doing something.
That's great. It's important for our kids to know that showing up isn't growing up. Showing up gets you into the proximity to actually begin to then grow. But pretty much most growth will happen because someone shows you the way. Somebody else. Sebastian, do you feel comfortable kind of sharing what you're taking away?
Yes, sir. I really like the part of developing and investing. As youth pastor, I know it takes a lot to put together your message, gather everything, and more whenever you just have 1 people working with you as a leader, or 2 people working with you sometimes as a leader. So it takes away a lot from your investing, from your developing. Plus, this is just supposed to be a part-time job for me. But just like you said, it spoke to me a lot. It says, whenever you said you have to make sacrifices. As I just graduated from college, I've been looking for jobs, an opportunity of growing and get a full-time job. But I know that will take time from my investing. I need it, and I needed to make a decision toward that, to what God wanted me to do in this moment, from what I wanted to do and what I will enjoy to do, to what I know will be beneficial for my youth.
Right. Well, here's the deal. I want to take 1 second here, and I'm going to just pray for you. Father, I thank you for Sebastian. I thank you that you know the doors and the plans that you have for him. Lord, I pray that you would open opportunity, and then closed doors that are distractions. God, help him know that you have a purpose and a plan for him, and that is a good plan in Jesus' name. Amen. Here is what I do want to say for those of you that you do work a full-time job and you are doing ministry on the side. The first thing that I would say is there is a way to run effective ministry even though you are not at the church all day long. Now, you can't measure. If I get to play basketball 1 hour a week, and then I get to be in the gym every single day, those two things are not comparable. And so the first thing that I would ask you to do is don't compare yourself. Do what you are able to do. And then become good at that. If you know that I only have Saturday mornings, then you begin to meet with people on Saturday mornings. There has to be a time when you structure things. There has to be a time when you have a system, and there has to be a time when you coach. And if you're doing Wednesday and Sunday and you're imparting, then there's a planning meeting, and then there is the youth meeting. And if that's all you can do, you got to have the right people at that planning meeting so that they can be working while you're working. And so don't miss our next Cultivate Coaching, because I'm going to talk about the how, and I'm going to talk about vision. I'm going to talk about structure. I'm going to talk about all that I just mentioned. So it's going to be really helpful for those of you who really want your operations to go to another level. It's going to be super helpful. And we're going to do that here in a couple months. So if we have your information, if we didn't get your email, go ahead and throw it on there, because we do want to let you know that we're going to do a few of these free. And so anyway, Sebastian, it was good to hear from you. I'm going to go ahead and jump back on, and then we'll hear from a few more of you. So the last one is deploy. So we're talking about deploy. This is when people begin to step into ownership. So can I tell you, the 3 Ds kind of come off my tongue, but it takes time. It takes time to discover them, and it takes time longer to develop them. But here's the thing is, no one can be in continual development forever without taking responsibility. Responsibility is the thing that causes people to step into more. And so if we do not give our leaders weight, then we do not give our leaders growth. That's how we deploy them. And so there are some people that, listen, they are hands-on. They got to touch everything. And it's a little micromanaging. There are some leaders that are hands off. They don't touch anything. It's like, great, you're over worship. And that's it. That's the only comment. And then every Sunday night they go back home and they hate it because they're like, oh my God, but you're not touching it at all. And so you kind of want your hands in it. And so we have a coaching philosophy around our church that every one of my people own it, and they carry it at 80%. And I touch it at 20. And so I have the right to come up and touch anything I want, but I'll touch it at 20, and it'll be more of a, let's make it better. But they're carrying the ownership of the area. I'm not waiting around trying to catch the ball from being dropped. Sometimes ball needs to be dropped, and that's where accountability comes in. So let's talk about deploying. It means you're stepping into ownership. This is exciting to watch. This means that they've come through your process, and you know what it means? You trust them. Like, who do you trust? Give them something. Well, if you're the one still putting your notes in the PowerPoint, give someone something. If you're the one still doing all the posts on social media, give someone something. Now, I mean, you want to make sure they can spell. I've messed that up before. but you want to find out what you can give. It's your job to find a job for somebody else. It's not their job to find a job and come up and ask you if they can do that. You're the one that's deploying people. So what we're talking about is, once there's been connection, then your correction doesn't feel like rejection. And that's huge, because most people won't grow because they feel rejected when they are corrected. We want to deploy people, and so we have to deploy people that we trust. Listen, they've learned, they've been challenged, and now they're changing, they're growing. And the key to this phase is that you love them while they're in the middle of learning. There is no way they can be you and know what you know right now. They haven't read what you've read. They haven't experienced what you've experienced. They haven't had the intentionality that you have. And so what is one next step that if they do this, they'll be winning? The development stage is when they take the risk to discover others. We want to equip them with our culture, and we want to help them have the skills. And so right now, listen, we were in a place where we didn't have anybody doing Photoshop, and Devin was the only one doing Photoshop. And he's like, man, I just really need some help. And I was like, we started talking about it, and we were like, what about these 3 kids? And they were like, well, they don't know it yet. Well, that's right. But are they willing? And so we actually have a process for Photoshop. And on Wednesday, students come up to the church, and we have like 3 or 4 YouTube videos that starts them from nothing that they watch. And they go and find other churches, and we don't even let them create anything autonomous. We only make them create what they've seen. And so they'll steal something really cool from someone else, change the colors, and put our logo on it. And they do that for 3 months before they ever create anything, so they can learn the process. But all I'm telling you is there is a way to do whatever you want them to do. If you want more information about how to do that, y'all shoot up Devin. Devin, throw your email in the chat real quick. Listen, we want to release them, and we want to build their confidence. The goal isn't just to have a great youth group, it's to produce great leaders. And so let me give you a couple of thoughts real quick, and then we'll be out of your way. First of all, if you're going to deploy people and you're going to develop great leaders, let me give you 3 thoughts. You're going to have to set expectations. Expectations. You don't tell people what to do. You tell them what you need and when you need it by. Listen, you set up guidelines, deadlines, and bucks on the line. Listen, guidelines is where you clearly explain what you need accomplished, and then you find out if they can do it. You don't tell someone, hey, can you lead worship tonight? And you don't even know if they can play. You say, hey, in a month, I want you to play me a song. And you set the time. What are they responsible for? We got way too many adults carrying all the responsibility for young people. You will never have 3 guitar players and 2 bass players if they don't have the responsibility. I got 3 kids right now. I'm not even the student pastor that I have told, hey, when you get that song done, I've got a girl in the 5th grade. She's been playing keyboard, piano. Her dad's phenomenal. She's playing piano for 2 years. And I told her at the end of this month, I want to hear you play. So she's going to video me into her playing. And I said, what song are you going to pick? And we've been talking about it, but what am I doing? I'm deploying people. I'm giving them responsibility. Sure, she's not ready for the stage, but in 3 years, she will be. Listen, it helps when young people know what they're responsible for. And then here's the deal. Have them repeat it back to you so they know what you're talking about. Deadlines. Set a realistic deadline. It's not tomorrow. That's not realistic. If they're learning something new, give them some time, but check in 30, check in 70%. Don't make them do something and then you looked at it at 95% of completion and you didn't like it. Check in at 30%, check in at 70%. This is things that we do. Give them a date where it's not open-ended. They have a deadline for accountability. Butts on the line means, hey, listen, We are ready to step into a courageous conversation. If we gave them a task and they said they would do it, well, how can we hold them accountable? They're just volunteering at the church. Well, you're reducing the church as if it doesn't matter. We're preparing young people for life. The Bible was the one that said, let your yes be yes and your no be no. If they know the expectation and they say yes to the deadline and we believe that it's in their capacity to do it, why would we not hold them accountable? Because we can find out, was it fear? Were you overwhelmed? Was there anxiety? Did you not know? Like, come on. Like, we can have people figure stuff out. We circle back, we communicate, and a lot of times those communication moments are when we find out something about a young person that we would have never known. And then we can really pastor them. The second thing we're talking about deployment is communication. In the absence of communication, people make stuff up. Listen, come on, leaders. If you're going to lead people, you got to communicate regular and often. And it is your job to find avenues to communicate with them. Is your team making it up? Hey, we're doing this. And you're like, who told you that? Well, actually, nobody told them. So they all assumed it because they didn't hear from the leader. We want to paint a picture of where we're going. Don't miss our next coaching session because we're going to talk about this. But listen, just because you've said it doesn't mean that they've heard it. We have to receive the communication, and we have to make sure that we say it and that it's received. It's like if me and Mitch were throwing a tennis ball, okay? If I threw it to him and he caught it, but he didn't throw it back to me, then we didn't play catch. If I throw a ball to him, he catches it, and then he throws it back and I catch it, now we're playing catch. That's just like communication. Saying it is not communication. Saying it and sending it and receiving it and sending it and receiving it is we are having now communication. And the last thing is this. I hope you guys have enjoyed our time together. Impartation. Impartation. You know, as people step into leadership, this is some of the fuel that they need. Yes, they need the Holy Spirit. Yes, they need time with God. Yes, they need prayer, but they need their leader. The fuel that they receive to move forward comes from two places. It comes from the Lord and it comes from their leader. Like if you're the visionary, and obviously we know that your pastor has set the vision, and we can talk about that at another time. But as a leader, it's your responsibility, come on, to shepherd them, to lead them. And sometimes those are hard questions that no one's really willing to ask. And we're not attacking them. We're just helping them move forward. And then we're teaching them to go to the Lord. Listen, we are not anybody's, we are not the devil's garbage can, and we don't take everybody's toxic thoughts. We're no garbage dump for the devil. We send people to the Lord, and way before they come to me, they got to go to the Lord. They got to write it in their journal. They got to pray it out, and then we can talk it out. But the goal is there's already one Savior. You're not it. They need to go to the Lord and they need to go to you, but you got to impart to them what you have been given. You begin to give to them. And that comes by prayer, laying on the hands. That comes by breaking down the word. That comes by, not by sarcasm. Come on, that comes by loving them. And so really, I think that impartation, communication, and expectation are the things that really help us deploy leaders for the long term. Okay. Man, I appreciate it. I know that we have a couple more things to say. Real quick, like I said, I wanted to give you time back, and I wanted to honor your time. I see Ren. Ren, are you there? I see you. Tell me what you're taking away from this. Is that okay?
Yes, it is. So I think just one of the things that stuck out, just even just what you just said, probably was one thing, the area that I struggle with is communication, and just communicating clearly and regularly. I just kind of assume people understand what I'm saying and like what I'm asking them to do. And so just even just being able to communicate, like, I guess like being able to just over and over and not feel like I'm just not necessarily micromanaging, but like just making sure they understand it clearly. And I can just see like in times when I've done that, just how the results have come. And so I can't expect like great results if I'm not giving like exactly what I'm asking for. And so just seeing how important that is just to communicate clearly, because I know how it affects me when someone doesn't communicate to me well. And so I can't expect other people to read my mind and know exactly like what I'm thinking or what I'm asking for. So that probably just here that stuck out to me the most in this last section.
That's great, Ren. That's right. And honestly, you know what? Here's the thing: is that nobody is born good at communication, and you learn it through missing it or describing something small. You know, that's why in 4th and 5th grade, the teacher makes you write an essay on how to get home. You know what I mean? And so it's in that moment that you're like, I know how to get home, but I don't know how to tell anybody else how to get home. You know, you realize you don't know how to spell your street. You don't know where, you know what I'm saying? And so I'm just saying, practicing communication and slowing down is going to be, honestly, it's going to be great for you, and it's going to be great for them. One more, Christina, are you able to jump in and say something? She may not hear me.
No, I can.
Is that okay? Do you feel comfortable sharing?
Yeah, I really liked the on the communication part, particularly, you know, playing catch, saying it is not communication just to say it. And then the piece of the trash can. We don't have to accept everyone's toxic thoughts, which is pretty major, because when you're in ministry, every little thing that people either complain about or vent about, oh, it should be this way or that way, we don't have to receive that. We can filter it to, you know, file 13. We don't have to just constantly think about that.
I think that's great. You know, God is not want you to swim around in a cesspool to minister to people. And so it's important to protect your spirit. That doesn't mean we go through hard things with people, but you know, we're going to teach people how to go to the Father and to get freedom and to get healing. And so that's really good, Christina. Tiffany, are you able to speak? If not, it's okay. Okay. I don't know. I think this was great. I hope that you guys got some stuff out of this. Obviously, I'm scrolling through here. I'm trying to see everybody. And Stu, are you on?
Yeah, I'm here.
Stu, do you want to comment real quick on something that stuck out to you?
I think the biggest thing was seeing people, you know, because Chrissy and I were the next generation leaders at our church. And so we're over kids and youth. And so sometimes we have an issue with finding people in kids' church. And I think that what you said, I mean, it really spoke to me, because, you know, we probably do have the people. We just need to be seeing them. And it kind of made me relate it to when I worked at a water park. They taught us how to scan through all these people to find the ones that were drowning. And so, you know, how can I scan through the people that we already have to find the one that feels like they don't have a purpose and get them plugged in?
Yeah, that's great, Stu. That's a great takeaway. It's great. Thanks for being on the call. Devin, you want to wrap this up, or Alexis? Hey, I just want to say for my part, I know they got one or two things that they want to share, but thank you guys for taking the time. We are working hard to make this valuable for everybody. We're going to do another one. I think they have a date that they want to give you for that. And I would encourage you, if this was beneficial, that you would share this and get this out to some of your people that are doing ministry, even if it's your teams and you want a little help coaching. We are a nonprofit ministry and we are trying to help your ministry move forward. Dev?
Yeah, come on. That was so good. I took so many notes. Thank you so much, Pastor Stephen, for just being on and talking and teaching us and training us on how to really take ministry to the next level. So we do want to hear from you guys. So if you want to go ahead and drop what your favorite thing was from today, maybe you took a note on something that like I was just writing so fast that my hand was hurting and I missed it. So maybe you could drop in what you're taking away. And as you do that, Alexis is going to share one more thing with you guys.
Yes. So if you remember a couple of months ago, Deb and I hopped on Instagram and did a video about a giveaway that we're going to do tonight. So Mitch, I'm going to pass it to you.
For sure. So here's the thing. Everybody loves Chick-fil-A. We love a good giveaway. So on our Instagram, we were going to give away a Chick-fil-A gift card, and that is going to Cole Yeldell. You can expect a message from Alexis on how you will be getting that gift card after this event.
Yeah, so congrats, Cole. I'll get that gift card to you. And if you want to be a part of more giveaways or just see what Be The One is up to, the best way to connect with us is through social media. So follow at Be The One Ministries and follow Pastor Stephen at Stephen Sexton _BT1. And that's a wrap for our Cultivate Coaching. Our next Cultivate Coaching will be on September 17th.
Yeah.
So mark your calendars today. It's about 3 or 4 months away, and we want to personally invite you to come. It's going to be free. And if you know any other leaders who you think could benefit from this info, you should personally invite them to come, because we want to spread the word about what God is doing and about this Cultivate Coaching. And so that is a wrap. If you have any questions, I dropped my email in the chat box, and you guys can email me any other thoughts.
Thank you guys for coming. We appreciate it. Y'all have a great night.